What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, my friends, we're looking at an updated list. Best fullbacks, but I want to talk mainly, or primarily, or solely about the left back position. There's too many players. We need to break this up. This is up to date. Did I make that clear? If you enjoy the content, please like the video and comment below. What do you think of my list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And also, if you put right backs, because I haven't made that video yet, I will screenshot and use your suggestions for the best right backs in FIFA 21. We're on the same page, and we're always looking at social media at Mike LaBelle. You pick it, we choose it, we look it up, retweet it, reply to it, circle, square, rectangle, geometry. Criteria: must be a left back, no icons, performance based, which just means that I'm not taking price into consideration, and then no repeat players. We're not gonna have multiple iterations of the same player in one list. That just doesn't seem fitting. We can do something different. We're more creative. We can tailor a special product for the people. Also, if you've not subscribed and you've made it here, you're past the waffle, past the pancake, hit the bell, ring it. We upload daily. Gunter. Early disclaimer, he must be played as a center back. If you're gonna use him as a fullback, he wouldn't come in at number 15. But I respect this man. The 5-star skills makes him unique. He tells a story, a certain picture. It's an asset. It gives you a different vibe, a different energy. Movement shifts dramatically, but he is a center back that so happens to be a fullback from a default role. What I'm trying to say is if you play him as a left back, then the Olympic race just isn't going well for you. Kai Wagner has a little more versatility. I like him as a fullback. I just played with them last weekend league, and defense wins ships, and Wagner is a pirate. But offensively, he's stiff. Ironing board in the closet. It hadn't been taken out often. Not regular. Rock solid. Onyx. Geodude. Don't make me start naming Pokemon. I will do this. Starting to think about Machop potentially being with that stiffness, a little karate action. Not scared of a bruise. I really rate Kai Wagner. I just think offensively you're a little more limited. Yuri. New Supreme items drop weekly. That is for the hype beast. And I'm not sure what that has to do with Yuri. This might be one of the most underrated fullbacks we've seen. And he can be played as a center back. Even though he's undersized, it still works. The links are there. He overperforms. He's strong. He's got a good body type. He recovers well. This man is a healer for the back line. I know that you remember Yuri. Acuna Matata. This is not the 96. We're talking fullback. Again, left back. Rough yet crisp. Healthy apple. Do you remember when you used to give those to the teacher? I didn't do that. I didn't partake. If anything, the teacher didn't want what I was giving him. True Dirty Mike days. The throwback. That 96 is absurd. Just to track back. Start that conversation. Make a mental note. However, this item is still viable. He's physical, yet he still has that finesse. Just think, envision, walk with me down a path of creativity. You have yourself a considerate bear leading the defense. He's roaring. That was a very poor bear impression, so we're gonna move on. Lodi, you forgot about him. Or you're thinking about Thor, his brother. I think his name was Lodi. I hope so, or the guys that are Marvel heads are gonna come after me. This guy has that flavorful expression coming from Brazil. Easy offense, swift chase back, not a charge back. We're not talking about credit cards, or debit cards, or bank accounts, checking, or savings, or investments. It's hot outside, so we're definitely not chilly. That is a poor pun in regards to Chilwell, who has strong defending, and even without some of these additional upgrades, and that's where the argument comes into play, where is he really going to fit? Because I'm not basing my selection on potential or movement, but where they currently are, this position. Some of you might have it as a stock drop. You're seeing the winter season and you're wearing a coat. You are getting cold, you're getting chilly. Maybe the water isn't that fresh, but I feel number 10 is a good placement. I rate him. Defense is still my first priority. Is it a benefit? Of course, offensively, especially as the game has shifted, no doubt. But you still have to lock up and lock out. Remember the code and the combination. And he has high work rates, which in regards to fullbacks and center mids, at least ones that do have to intercept or be viable on the defensive end, I prefer this type of work rate. Jerome, the Frenchman that is also not discussed. Why don't we bring this up? We can start dropping the bisous and s'il play, and if we start talking food, you know the direction that I'm going in. Get me started with pastries. We've got a discussion. We could nitpick, but this guy is nice. It would have been an added bonus if he had the skill moves or the weak foot, but these are facts with my subjective opinion. Luke Shaw, double dips, plays both positions. We want the sugar cone or the cake cone or the snow cone. Luke can do it. I was happy enough or lucky enough to get him in a player pick. Pretty impressed. And the fact that he can play as a center back and a fullback, it does play a factor to a certain degree. You want to have the option, even if you don't use that secondary position, knowing that you can, or knowing that he can fit in somewhere and give you a different look. He's another utility or a personnel advantage or competitive advantage on the virtual pitch. It adds up. It comes into the equation even more so when you're spending real coins. You're spending that extra cash flow. And if they're expensive, of course, it's going to go into the consideration. Alba, not always my cup of tea, but in this case, the upgrades are relevant, and I'll just add some sugar. I'll stir it up. We mix it together. We could do the Powerpuff Girls reference where it's got some spice and some nice and everything else that goes into whatever is included in the intro and the theme song of that cartoon. That is not coming to me at the moment. Many of you wonder, does Mike have a bunch of notes? Is all of this scripted? No, the majority is off the top. I like to have my player list right over here. We detail that, we track back to it, maybe a couple bullet points, and then we go. I like freedom of expression. I don't want to be stiff. I don't want to be predictable. I like unorthodox descriptions, as do you. That's why you're here. We move. Triori, the human bowling ball. I'm shocked that I have him this high. I know he's an 84, but I've played too many weekends with him, and I feel comfortable and confident using him now, currently, whether he's a starter or he comes off the bench, because I often use Triori as my first super sub at halftime, especially if you're playing with overlapping fullbacks where they get tired. You need those substitutes, and Triori has still been extremely relevant, and his bench press is impressive. Don't try to impress, be impressive. You can quote that, put it somewhere, live by it. T-shirt printed. Tyranny, Arsenal fans, you like this, you support it. I didn't like the price tag, but I do repeat, or I'm restating, this is about performance, not about price to that performance. It's not coming into the overall return of investment. I'm just looking at results, and I feel that Tyranny gives you an upper echelon, that upper tier fullback. Some of you will just completely disagree as well with Triori. You don't like his body type. You don't like that he can be played as a center back. You think that he's outdated, and I understand, but he's just been the real deal for me, and even currently, it's not as if I've stopped using him. And this was supposed to be more about Tyranny, but I just reverted back to open up the discussion board in the comment section for Triori. Marcelo, perfect example of how the game has shifted, where you need these offensive fullbacks, or at least you receive an advantage of guys that are not only able to run the lines, they can cut inside, they can wiggle, they can work, they have the agility, you got the skills, the weak foot, the precision, the crossing, switch the pitch, walk the dog, carry the cat. I don't think that is a saying. And I also feel, from a personal end, nostalgic vibes. This is a rerun, a refresh, a rewind, VHS, DVD, Napster. Who remembers Napster or LimeWire? I hope these references hit for someone in the comment section. Please, if you know what I'm talking about, you better drop a comment. Do not leave me hanging. Shake my hand. Marcelo gives me those skills that pay the bills and that free flow and that expression that I really can appreciate. And I remember getting so busy with players like this in previous installments, so I might have a bias. But at the same time, as the game meta has become more about these fullbacks being involved, that's a competitive advantage. Again, you can stamp it as I slapped it. Hernandez, wow. Also a player that I received in player picks, which might be a subtle flex or serious flex, but he is the real deal even with the 3-3. Back and forth, the movement overall, the defensive measures, the recovery, the interceptions, the presence, the 50-50s, the chase back, the phone calls that are being made. He's playing a game of telephone. He's on the heels. One of the fastest players in the game. I actually feel the front three are pretty clear for this position. There might be some debate. There could be some names left off, and that's why we have the comment section. But I feel comfortable and confident with this first three, which almost makes it sound as if I don't feel as confident with the other players, which is not the case. I just think there's more room for subjectivity and interchangeability. Alphonso Davies, the Canadian dream. Zooming. Wing back, true and true. See him used all over the competitive teams for a reason. Relentless, back, forth, side to side. Lateral quickness, direct speed. You've got the composure, the skills. You even see him often used as a center mid. He has so much versatility and capability to fill into different slots depending what happens, when it happens, what formation, what adjustments you're making on the fly. Highly regarded. There's no denying. And at number 1, you guessed it, I thought about doing the overtake or the reposition, but Mendy has not lost this spot for me. The 5'5", the double digits, doesn't follow the rules. He is clearly a savant, which is fitting. We're talking about French players. Surely that is a French word. I hope so. I didn't do a Google search. But Mendy is an anomaly. You look at the stats and you say he should be good, even with his baseline foot item. But that 83 could compete right here, right now, today. Would he be the best fullback in the game? No. But is he going to cost you a bunch of games throughout the weekend league or division rivals or versus your friends? Absolutely not. He's still official, still doesn't have a whistle, still has the right body type in the weak foot, and the matchup 50-50 winnability. It's just strange. I can go through a lot. I can look at the stats. We can have an open-ended discussion. The reality is he's just so damn overpowered and special in the last couple FIFA installments, and that has not changed currently. That's a review, or those are some statements. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to drop some love. Let me know in the section down below. By the section, I'm not talking about you booking out something in a venue. I'm talking about the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And talk to me about right backs in particular if you'd like to be featured in the next video that's part of this series. And I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.